This is the plaintiff, Rhea Kitson. She says she rented an apartment from the defendant for 8 years until he kicked her out. The guy always preached about ethics and treating people with respect. Then he turns around and evicts her when she had no place to go? What a hypocrite. She's suing for $750, the security deposit the defendant refuses to return to her. This is the defendant, Roland Epinambi. He says the plaintiff took her sweet time returning the keys to the apartment, still has a couch in it, and also left behind her barbecue. It's not his responsibility to chase her down to pick up her stuff, and he has every right to hold on to her security, which is what he did. He's accused of lousy landlording.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff rented an apartment from the defendant, and after 8 years, she says he wouldn't even return her security. But the defendant says the plaintiff didn't promptly return her keys and left stuff behind. It's the case of don't let the door hit you.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Rhea Kitson?
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Roland Epinambi?
Yes.
Okay, for your former landlord for $750, your security deposit, which he has, according to you, wrongfully retained. Tell me what happened.
First, let me say I'm not here on malicious intent. I'm only here just so I can get what's owed to me. I've lived with him live in an apartment for over...
You don't live with him?
No, in the apartment.
Okay, all right. So there was more to this case than I knew. I'm sure you felt the same way. Go ahead.
In the basement of the apartment, they were like family. They treated me well. I never had any problems.
What kind of apartment?
It was a basement apartment.
Okay.
And the December before I got noticed to leave, I was looking for a place because, the walls were,
Okay, back up a second. You got noticed to leave?
Yes, in November.
Who gave you notice?
November.
He did?
Yes, he did.
And why was he asking you to leave?
Because I got a cat and it was against the rules, and he said he has allergies. So
yeah. So how many days did he give you?
He told me by the end of the month, pretty much.
Well, but you didn't leave at the end of the month.
Because I didn't find anything. It was so hard to
so you told him that, and then he said, well, when you find something, you can... Okay.
Yes.
Because you didn't have a lease at this point, right? You were month to month.
Yes.
Right. There is a world where someone can tell you have 30 days, and you actually have to leave.
Yes.
All right. So he let you stay. Is it the two of you or just you? Who owns the place?
Both of us, that's me and my wife.
And so they let you stay, and you eventually find a place that you like.
Yes,
and you find that place when?
It was beginning of January because I wanted to move immediately, but he's like, I had to clean up and, do some cleaning.
God,
in the
so unreasonable.
I know. So I was, but in that time,
When did you tell them I found a place?
It had to be the beginning of January.
Well, when did you sign the lease on the new place?
There's no lease on that neither. It was the same month to month.
When do you say she gave you notice?
She gave me notice on the 15th of January.
In the middle of January?
In the middle of January.
She gave you notice on the 15th of January that she'd be out that month?
Yes, she moved out on the 29th. I believe that was the last time she moved out over there because they started moving on.
Does that sound accurate?
It was the 28th. It was a Monday because it was my day.
Right, but does it sound accurate that you told him on the 15th?
If he says so, I won't argue.
And then you leave, and he does not give you the security deposit back.
No.
Now, you had a pretty good relationship during the years that you were there.
Yeah, me and his wife were really close, and with him, we did bump heads a few occasions, and he always tell me, if it wasn't for my wife, you'll be out of this place, because, his wife used to always try to be, she's the reasoner, so I hate that. Right? I really hate that I have to be here.
So why are you keeping her security deposit?
Well, she came on January 15th and told me, but before that, prior to that time, I've already threatened her 2 or 3 occasions because every now and then you see a different guy in my house. So I don't like it. I don't mind people coming into the house, but I don't want my house to be like a motel. But beside that, she gave me a notice on the 15th that she's moving.
Okay, so you're keeping the deposit because you feel it was insufficient notice? I keep the deposit because she gave me the notice on the 15th of January. So, okay, did she damage the place?
No, she didn't damage the place.
Okay, so if you gave him notice on the 15th and you leave on the 28th and he tells you, well, no, you didn't give me adequate notice, what is your disagreement with what he's saying. Do you feel that you don't have to give any notice?
Well, I did. That's the thing. I didn't get any reasoning. He told the first time we had this conversation on, I called him and I was like, when would I be able to get my security? And it's like, oh, you don't have no reason to ask me. I don't want to lie.
Come on,
I really don't want to lie.
Do you two have a good relationship?
Yes.
Were you sorry to see her go?
Yes. I always fight with my husband for her.
Yeah.
Because whenever my husband said, oh no, I can't put up with her, she has to leave, I said to her, please, she's not your daughter. She's your tenant, And she will
Wait, what does that mean? He would keep his daughter, I hope.
Yeah, because you can check on your daughter and see what she's doing.
Oh, you think he was a little too involved in her life? Yes, I follow you.
Tenant. You don't have to look how many guys that come in or
keep a tally. It's kind of weird.
What time she come in? That kind of thing. You are not in a place to do that.
No, I don't check the time she comes
in. I was like a kind of shock.
So if you rent a room out in an apartment, are you allowed, from like a house, so somebody else's house, are you allowed to bring guests over for the night without permission? It's your room.
Yes, you are.
Even though it's not your house necessarily.
But I feel like if you're renting a room, everything that goes in that room is what you're doing.
Fair enough. What are you buying that?
I don't know. It depends if there's a lease.
Well, no, but I'm just asking you, if nothing's said about that.
Oh, yeah, you can. Definitely. I think you can bring whoever you want.
You agree with that?
Definitely. I mean, that's the point of having your own room, right?
Your room is your castle.
Right, yeah.
Inside somebody else's castle.
Right.
Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
So she gave notice in the middle of the month?
Yeah, but what happened, she called me on the phone and said to me, oh, tell your husband to give me my security. My husband said, oh, because she hasn't given me the key.
When did she give you the key?
It was like on February. That's when
she gave me the key on the 11th of February. The same day she called.
She left things behind as well?
She left a couch. The couch is still with me.
What are you reaching for? You don't have the couch in that pocket.
No. The couch is still out of the picture.
Did you leave a couch behind?
Yes, I did, You're
not supposed to do that.
The couch and the grill.
But you have a bigger problem. The bigger problem is that you gave him notice on the 15th, and the law says it, and where you're from, okay, you have to give 30 days notice when you're going to stop a month to month. They were nice to you. They let you go through the holidays there, finish what you're doing. But implicit in that little agreement, you're still supposed to do what you're supposed to do. So you were supposed to give them 30 days. For that reason alone, how much was the rent?
It's $750.
For that reason alone, they can keep the security for rent.
But he increased the rent, so I was paying $850.
Oh goodness! And you owe him another $100. Not again. If I were you, I'd stop talking. Right for the defendant.
Wait. And so just like that, gavel comes down on the side of the defendant here. Step in here. What's that smile now? You just lost in court.
Well, all that negative and all that stuff is going to come back. You can't prosper in life when you put out negative in the world.
All right. Well, you understand the 30-day law that you have to give notice. 30 days. You can't just bolt out of it.
By all means, you know what? It's okay. God is good.
All right. Thank you. All right. Right down there. All right. So come on in here, and so you win your case. Do you two agree on the outcome here? Why can't you two agree on this particular person?
Because I just love her. You know, like she's a hardworking girl. You know, like her parents is not here.
Your heart goes out to her, huh? And so does yours, right?
Yes, I do. But at the same time, she's not doing what she's supposed to be doing. So
I still feel sorry for her because
I don't want you two to fight over the thing. All right, Harvey.
You know, if the lease doesn't say anything to the contrary, most judges would allow you to have guests. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.